365 days of horsemanship, day 197. I can see Miss Mia right over there in the distance. Just look up at me, which is really nice. I had quite a nice session with her today. I mean, middling really, and then with Lawrence it was challenging as well. With Mia, I came in, she's in this new field, there's loads of grass. I think she's really bloated, and funnily enough, for me, I ate a ton of like crisps and like processed carbs today, so I'm feeling really bloated and just really slow and heavy, kind of low energy. So when I came in, I definitely had like a bit of empathy for that, and I kind of knew, I had this feeling that the best thing for us to do would be to do some physical exercise, because that often will make you feel better after you've had like one of those big meals, you know, and you can kind of like sweat out all of those toxins. And so I kind of wanted to do that. She was quite negative about the haltering, which I kind of had to play around a little bit with. I didn't have to put too much pressure on, but just even when I put the halter on, it didn't really feel like it was like a happy yes. It was like a yeah, fine, yes. And then I wanted to go take a walk, and she didn't want to walk either. And so I played around for a bit with just standing and watching things. And the trouble with that is, like, when she starts off in that place, like, you know, she really could stand and wait like all session, and I really just kind of wanted to do a little bit more than that, you know. So I did manage to do, I took her into the field like next door, and I brought the chair with me because I want to start working on my mounting every day. I got a fancy new saddle pad that my partner bought me from Showcase, which is cool. It's an Equitex. I'm really interested to see what that's like. I'll let you guys know when I eventually get it on her, because we're a little way away from that first. I want to be able to, you know, sit on her bareback before I start talking about the saddle and the saddle pad and all those kind of things. And, you know, it just feels like a super long journey. But so I took her into this field and I played a little bit of the mounting block, and that was good. I'd actually played with some jumping in the other field while I was kind of like, basically I would ask her to walk and she would like change her focus somewhere else, and then I would watch that other place with her, and then she'd go to eat, and then when she went to eat I would be like, oh yeah, what a great time to practice my jumping. And she was like annoyed about it, but like we were getting like some response. Like I was just keeping jumping until she like kind of took a look around at me in a more curious way, because what she'll generally tend to do is like tense this neck up here, and then she'll start trying to move away from it, and then eventually she usually will then like turn around and be like, what? And that's kind of where I'll give the release, kind of just on her like engaging with this thing that's difficult. So far it's not turned into any biting or anything like that. There was one time where it was more aggressive and I had to keep jumping, but that was kind of going okay. So when I came into the other field, lined her up by the chair, played a little bit with my weight over her back, which she moved a couple of steps, but I was then able to like have my weight like across her like hindquarters, across her haunches, and that was actually quite okay. And we did end up getting a lick and a chew, which was really nice. Then I moved on to my walking, and it was just a difficult session. I just felt like there was a lot of just annoyance, irritation, frustration, whatever you want to call it, just this like, I think, unwillingness. I'm definitely noticing a pattern with the sessions where, the dominant sessions, where I sort of play with some stuff and end up pushing her with an exercise into concern, and then I spend some time helping her feel better about that exercise, which is basically how every session with us goes. And today, that was running next to each other, running like side by side at speed, like trot into canter. And that was very stressful. And after that, every time we came to the same place to look at doing the same thing, she was like very tense. So it was good. It was definitely good to play with it, because it kind of ended up where the end of the session was basically, we went back to that spot and we got this feeling of relaxation and the lick and chew. And that was like the first time in the whole session that I felt like we really connected after all that time. And so I finished it there. And I don't know if that's the right choice. Like, maybe I should have carried on, but like, it was definitely the best moment of the session. And I think I would have preferred to have left it there than to end up having it be like a short moment of connection, which then goes back into this feeling that we'd had before. And then I'm stuck there for a while as well. And it's quite like emotionally exhausting. I think like when the horse is like really engaged with you, the session goes much faster. Whereas like when the horse isn't engaged, like I get like emotionally tired like way more quickly, which I think is natural. You know, I think pretty much everyone in the world would be like that. So I took the halter off, and that was a nice moment. I did feel like that was positive and a good end to the session. I then sat down. I literally just sat down next to her, which is cool because I kind of felt like, having had that session where how do I put this? She'd been there, but she hadn't been present. Or she'd been present but not engaged. And so it felt like it was okay for me then to have the wind down, be me being there with her, in that same space with her, close, but not necessarily the same. Like sitting down is actually kind of more supportive than passive, because my body's not the same as hers. So it was good. It was a good end to the session, and I felt good about the session overall. I went to Lawrence, and I definitely had, I think, a session that encompassed more of the feelings that I've been having generally. Yesterday I had a really good session with him, and I think today I came in, I guess, with the hope and expectation that I might have a similarly good session. And instead I got this energy from him and I really want to speak to Elsa about this, because I'm hoping, I've asked her if I can chat with her today. Hopefully she's not busy. Hopefully she can find some time for me. I don't know where she is. Maybe she's in Texas. In which case maybe she won't. But anyways, hoping I'll be able to catch up with her, because I'm not sure if I am anthropomorphizing or not, because I really feel like he's ignoring me on purpose sometimes. And I don't mean that he's doing that in like a spiteful way. Like I don't think that he's like deliberately being mean to hurt me or anything like that. I don't believe that. Horses do that. But just this feeling of like, is like he knows that I'm there, and I know that he knows that I'm there, and yet, you know, I came up to him. He initially came to me like, and the approach was okay, and then he like sort of like showed me his hind end in the same way that he does when he wants me to scratch. So I started taking the rug off, went to take the front bit off, and he started walking away. So I sort of followed him, took the rest of the rug off, and then from that moment on, he literally just ate grass the entire session. No matter what I did, I groomed his mane, I sort of scratched him all over looking for a place that might be interesting for him, no response. Then I did flow in different places, no response. And I kind of gave up at that point and went, you know what, I'm just going to flow with him in a spot that I think is a nice spot, which is like a kind of like medium distance, like short to medium distance, with like around his shoulder. And I was there for like a few minutes just being in flow, and that felt more harmonious. I definitely felt more like we were in sync and less like I was pushing on him, but there was still there was no category changes. There was only like these small focus changes, like eyes and ears, and there really aren't that many of them. And yeah, and I don't know, like that just gets exhausting for me very quickly, to be honest. That just like mentally tires me out really fast. So yeah, I don't know what the answer is. Just had that feeling again, like I just didn't know what he wanted. Like he wants something, or there's something that I could do, and I just don't know what it is. So yeah, so I need to ask Elsa and get her wisdom and see what she says, because I feel like I'm just missing something. It's like I've almost got it, but not quite. So yeah, but you know, I'm not unhappy with the sessions. This feels like, you know, it's a normal part of growing and learning. And yeah, so we'll see what Elsa says. I'll let you guys know.